Hi guys, so before I start the video I just want to say that this video is mainly aimed at low income couples, mainly because that's the situation that I'm in, so low income couples who have no non-dependents, but anybody can get tips, so stick around. So all in all I have 5 tips that I will share with you. These are tips that I go by and what I've learned along the way. Me and my partner were renting for 3 years. We managed to save £10,000 in that time, but since we've moved in with family members, we've lived with them for like 5 months and we've already saved up £5,000. This is how good these tips are, if I do say so myself. So tip number 1 is think of what your goals are, because what's the point in trying to save when you don't even know what you're saving for? So me and my partner sat down and talked about what we want, and we've decided we would like to be able to save £10,000 per year, which is quite difficult when you're low wages, but if you want it, you will get it. So for us to save £10,000 a year, there was absolutely no way that we could stay in our rented bungalow, so we decided that we'd either have to rent a room or ask family members if we could move in with them. Luckily we had family members that had 2 spare bedrooms, so we moved in with my boyfriend's parents, and we still pay them rent and we're still saving up for our mortgage, and we still managed to have money to do things for ourselves. So work out what your joint earnings are. If your goal is to save £10,000 a year, that means that you're going to have to save £835 per month in order to get that £10,000 in a year. That seems like a lot of money, and if you're renting, there's absolutely probably no way that you can do that if you're on low wages like we are. So if you rent a room, the chances are that all of your bills are going to be included in that rent. It works out so much cheaper. We pay £440 a month for both of us, and we have our own little living room, which I'm sitting in, and our own tiny bedroom, but it works for us, and you've just got to sacrifice things if you want to get a house at the end of it. So to give you a lowdown on our wages, we get around £2,300 a month. So obviously we save £835 a month, then we have to pay rent, which is £440, then we obviously have to buy food for ourselves for the month, and after all the expenses that we have to pay out for, we are left with about £370 each for the month to do with whatever we want. Obviously, if you're a single person and you're only getting like £12,000, £13,000 a year, there's no way that you're going to be able to save up £10,000 in a year, or if you can, then please give me your tips, because you're clearly amazing at saving money. So set yourself goals that are realistic for you. There's no point saying that you can save a certain amount of money when you know that you really can't. So my second tip is get rid of things that you don't need, and don't pay more for things that you do need. For example, you know, you're going to need a mobile phone, but do you really need to pay £40 on a contract, or can you just go pay as you go and buy a bundle with whatever network you're with? For example, I'm with EE and I top up £20 a month, I buy a bundle with them and I get 100 minutes, 10 gigabytes of internet, and I think like 400 texts. So for £20 that's pretty good. And also, this could be a hard one for some people, but it could be easy for others. So if you live close to public transport, work out whether it would be cheaper to just, instead of driving, go with public transport, get rid of your car until you can afford one, because you will free up so much money. Cars are so expensive, so if you can get rid of your car, then I recommend just doing it. I mean, my boyfriend works in the town that we live in, so he just walks to work. I pay for the bus, which is £60 a month. So I feel like I'm saving quite a lot of money getting the bus and not driving, but obviously that's not an option for everybody. What I would suggest, if you can't get rid of your car, then maybe just, instead of paying out for petrol here, there and everywhere, just go where you need to with your car and walk everywhere else or cycle everywhere else where you can. If you do rent a room, then it's worth asking your housemates if you can borrow their Amazon, their Netflix, if they've got those things, Spotify, all sorts, all those little things that add up, because that's something that I'm going to be offering to my lodger when we move out, because we're going to get a lodger living with us. Because all those little things do add up and they really make such a difference. You think you're paying £10 for Amazon, Netflix and Spotify every month, that's £30. That adds up to quite a lot of money. It's like over £300 a year. At the end of the day, there's no harm in asking people, and they can only say no. And instead of buying brand new, go to the charity shops. Seriously, you can get such good deals in charity shops. For example, the other day I went to the shop and I saw a jacket that I really liked. It was £25 reduced from £50, and I just thought, I can't really spend that much money. I don't want to spend that much money on one item. Instead, I went to the charity shops. I've got a wedding coming up. I needed to get a dress, I needed to get a jacket, shoes and a bag, and I got all of that for £17, whereas I could have just gone and bought that one jacket for £25 and I would have still needed to get all this other stuff on top of that. So it's worth it, definitely, to go second hand. There's websites like eBay, and Depop is a really good one, and you can always message the sellers on Depop as well and ask if they can reduce their prices. They're quite good with things like that, so that's definitely one of my best tips, because I mean, these trousers that I'm wearing, charity shop, I think they cost like £3. They're so nice, they're so comfy, and if I bought them brand new, they would have cost like £25–30. Tip number 3, and this is a very important one, is to give yourself a luxury. For example, I like going to the gym, so I got a gym membership. I can go as many times as I want. It gives me something to do. It doesn't feel like I'm spending loads of money on it. My boyfriend loves films, so he got a membership to Cineworld, which was like £18 a month, so he can go to the cinema as many times as he wants, and it's only £18 a month. I think it's very important to give yourself something like that, because you can just drive yourself crazy doing absolutely nothing. Tip number 4, bulk buy and bulk make foods. I cannot stress this enough. This is probably where I save the most money, because me and my boyfriend eat so differently. I'm vegan and he's not, so for his food I mainly go into Iceland, because you can buy things in bulk in there and it's so cheap. For my food I mainly stick to Whole Foods, which are so cheap, like things like chickpeas, lentils, rice, beans, all of that stuff, they're so cheap. For like fake meats, I go to Holland and Barrett or Tesco's or anywhere like that and just get the cheapest things that I can find. Our budget for the month is £120 for shopping. We managed to stick to the budget, or I managed to stick to the budget because I do all the shopping. But it's definitely cheaper if you go into the reduced sections, things like that. You can buy vegetables like for a quarter of the price because they're going to go off tomorrow, but you can just chuck them in the freezer, and that's what I do. Things like stir fry mixes and all sorts of things like that, you can just chuck it in the freezer. Bulk make things like cottage pies, shepherd's pies, lasagnas, because all of those things you can eat some, keep some left out, and you can chuck a load of stuff in the freezer as well. It just works out so much cheaper. Number 5, do a government scheme. Most of them are a load of old rubbish, to be honest, when you're low earners, because they mainly help people who are on more money than us, which doesn't make any sense to me because they're meant to be there for people that can't afford it. The only one that I've seen that looks like it would help me is the Help to Buy ISA, which you save up. In your first month you can save up £1,200, and then the other months, every other month, you can save up to £200 a month over 5 years, so you can save up to £12,000. If you're in a couple, you can both have one each, so at the end of that the government will give you 25% of whatever you've saved. If you save £12,000 each, that's going to be £6,000 that the government will give you. Most people don't save for the whole 5 years. I'm not going to be saving for the whole 5 years. I want to move out eventually. But yeah, you can save up £2,000 and get back £500. So that would be £1,000 if there's a couple of you, and that can go towards all the little things. Like, there's going to be so many other costs that you're going to have to fork out for. So those are my 5 top tips. I will be adding more in this series of videos, mainly money saving tips and journeying through buying my property. You'll see me doing up my property. We're going to be renting out a room to a lodger, so you'll see that process and how we're doing the room up and everything. We're hoping to move out within about 1.5 years, hopefully a year, but maybe 1.5 years. So there'll be plenty more to come. So yeah, like, subscribe for more, and let me know in the comment section what changes you are going to be making so that you can live your property dreams.